hardware-related issue, and we can fix it. And we discussed how we can provide more space. There are different approaches. Identifying possible causes and taking appropriate action. So you can see whenever we are going to understand the problem, whatever problem occurs in our environment. So top-down approach, most specific approach, top-down, where we start investigation at the applications level. As I explained, to solve the problem is not a magic. We must need a good understanding regarding the technology, whatever technology we are using, and right approach. So most of the time, most specific top-down approach start very from applications level, because application running on the top of your operating system. Applications level investigation, OS level investigation, and guest OS always we have inside the virtual machine. Then VMs level, make sure VMs we configured all the resources correctly, plugged in a proper VLAN marked virtual machines port group, doesn't have the contention in terms of CPU, memory, network, bandwidth, storage at the ESXi level. And then we're going to see hardware level. Recently we developed one new LAN card which is not supported or has some kind of bugs. And then finally we're going to see the storage. And also we can use bottom-up approach. If you know, yes, we had made some hardware level changes recently on that particular ESXi host. And the problem also we have on the same host, so why not we start directly looking at a hardware level first, then ESXi virtual machines level, then application and guest OS, we need to contact the owners of the application and make sure the application level certain changes took place, and since that time the problem we are facing. So we have a two approach, bottom-up approach or top-down approach. So by taking structured approach to troubleshooting, you can determine root cause quickly, effectively, and take one of the troubleshooting approaches depending on the problem's characteristics. Investigate the cause from the top down, investigate the causes from the bottom up, and approach the causes by arms. Directly at the VMs or ESXi level also we can start investigation. Determine the root cause. To determine root cause, test your environment, eliminate possible causes. Some example we can see, the virtual machine stopped responding. So possible causes, the problem is triggered by the operation, such as at the VM level some snapshot action going on, or some migrations, live migrations going on, spot migrations going on at the VM levels. So small lags we can see performance in the application of guest operating system when you're doing these kind of activities. So that's my recommendation. If it is not required, we can do this in a business of ours. vMotion, bulk of vMotion. If one or two we have virtual machine, we are going to move by. We can move any time. But heavy migrations, you must need to plan it. And we have certain settings at the VM levels that you also need to figure out. Let me ask from you, at the VM level, we have a virtual machine, let's say 2 GB allocated memory. And when you turn on this VM, it's going to create VSV file. What is the file size for this virtual machine?
2 GB.
2 GB. And by default, what is the default limit and what does it mean when you use the term limit? Default limit as per the allocated memory, and that is limit. It means in any case, we are never going to use beyond this limit. Might be OS application demanding 3 GB, but they cannot get. But the total allocated memory is 2 GB, so never the hypervisor going to provide more than this limit, because the default allocated memory is the limit. And by default, there is no reservation. But if you want, you can configure certain amount. We can configure as a reservation. Let's say 1 GB. On what basis we can configure reservation? While you reserving RAM, first of all, let me know what is reservation. Reservation for RAM, reservation for CPU, reservation for network I/O, storage I/O. We have a concept. When you do reservation, what does it mean?
That much amount of memory is reserved for the VM from the physical memory.
Reservation means guaranteed amount of resources this VM has all the time. Whether we are using or not, but hypervisor keep continuously 1 GB reserve guaranteed memory for this VM, because hypervisor doesn't know at what time VM start demanding. And when VM start demanding, it must need to provide up to reservation. So in this case, reservation 1 GB, you can see immediately dynamically decrease the size. It become now 1 GB. And more than 1 GB is not guaranteed. It means what? When and this reservation parameter only visible for the hypervisor. The guest OS can see allocated memory. I have 2 GB. The guest OS, when needs to use, it can demand 2 GB. It can see how much I have 2 GB. That means I can use. When it start demanding 2 GB, so hypervisor no value. 1 GB reservation or another 1 GB I do not have provide for this virtual machine. So it's using other memory resources such as TPS, transparent page sharing, memory compression, and swap. So that's why in the swap we have 1 GB. So even host doesn't have free physical RAM left, but guest operating system see I have 2 GB, it can satisfy 1 GB from the physical RAM of the ESXi, another 1 GB from the swap, in order to satisfy this 2 GB RAM. But if you want limit also, you can control. Let's say limit I put 1.5 GB. So it means what? Up to reservation guarantee, more than reservation not guarantee. But when this VM demanding only 2 GB, hypervisor that time might be having 10 GB free RAM available. Even though the VM cannot use more than 1.5 GB as a ESXi physical RAM, because we put the limit 1.5 GB maximum you can consume the physical RAM. So remaining 5 GB must be used from other sources, swap, compression. And there is one more parameter we use, that is a share value. Share means what? And when hypervisor is going to check these parameters? Two questions. What is a share? And at what condition hypervisor is going to check the share value of the virtual machine?
I believe when ballooning is required, right? That time it go and check for share values.
No, we have a 4 different memory information category. TPS, ballooning, memory compression, and post. These all being used whenever you have contention. Demand become high than you have. Demand becoming 15 GB code from the collectible multiple virtual machine, but you have 10 GB. Available amount, how you going to distribute among all 15 virtual machine? At that time, it's going to use these all sort of memory information technique to satisfy 15 GB out of 10 GB. First, distribute it among all the 15 GB virtual machine. You have 10 GB, suppose that you already distributed, so remaining 5 GB going to use these sort of memory information type. TPS, ballooning, memory, compression, post swapping. But right now, we want to know what is share value. What is share value when hypervisor consider to use the share value? So share define the priority. And priority come into the picture whenever you have two conditions. First condition, contention. Demand become high, then you have. Second, this demand must be coming from minimum 2 or more virtual machines. Must have competition among the virtual machines. So these two conditions, contention, more demand than you have, and this demand coming at least from 2 or more VMs. Then hypervisor would check the share value and configure share value low, medium, high. So more the value, virtual machine get the priority, more resources. So these three values we can configure not only for the memory but also for the CPU, and with network IO control, these three parameters, limit, reservation, share value, we also can configure for the virtual machine network bandwidth. For types of network also, like vMotion traffic can also use these parameters, share, limit, reservation in terms of bandwidth. So make sure at the VM level we have configured these value correctly, and we have another concept, similar kind of resource pool. What is resource pool, guys? In a vSphere HJ cluster, how many resource pool we can create maximum? Tricky question sometimes we asked in your interview. How many resource pool we can create in HJ cluster? HJ cluster doesn't support resource. People start saying like 250, 200. Either stand-alone host allow you to create the resource pool, or DRS enabled cluster allow you to create the resource pool. So we have a multiple ESXi 1, ESXi 2, ESXi 3, 10 GB, 10 GB, 10 GB, 10 gigahertz, 10 gigahertz, 10 gigahertz. So when you configure DRS merges all the resources, gives you 30 GB RAM, 30 gigahertz CPU, and if you want to logically isolate these resources based upon department, tenants, in a line, you can create a resource pool. Resource pool 1. Resource pool 2, and we can allocate CPU and RAM. CPU and RAM. Always recommended for your critical workload, always create a resource pool. And at the resource pool level, you can configure these three values: share, limit, reservation. So some dedicated amounts of CPU RAM must need to allocate this resource pool, and under this resource pool you can place your virtual machine. So VM getting that certain amount all the time within a resource pool. So critical workload always, that's why we always recommend put in the resource pool. And non-critical workload you can keep out of the resource pool. So this is the way, so the critical virtual machine all the time getting as per the required resources. This is the way to isolate resources between the client, between the tenant. Either standalone host allow you to create a resource pool, or DRS enabled cluster allow you to create the resources, resource pool. Possible causes: not enough CPU memory we have available in the ESXi host, because multiple VMs we have placed in a single ESXi host. So this ESXi host do not have sufficient CPU memory to satisfy all virtual machine demand. Physical resources are inaccessible. Might be some memory get damaged, one of the memory stick get damaged, network LAN cards stop working, anything. We lost one of the storage. Only from specific ESXi host, not from all ESXi. So these all could be the reason for the existing problems. So we need to figure it out where exactly the problem, what the problem is, and then we need to resolve. After identifying the root cause, assess the impact of the problem on operation. High impact problem, whatever you have. So it means what? We need to immediately resolve this. If it is a medium impact, resolve whenever you get, okay, after 6 p.m. I will work on it, I will resolve this issue. So let the currently work with all the customers' lives. Yes, this is not affecting virtual machines related any issues. So hypervisor level we have issue, we can resolve it whenever we have less burden, let's say 6 p.m. Low impact, okay, this is the minor problem, get automatically resolved once we do the next maintenance or patch management. Okay, so small problem, we note it down, and also note it down, it must be get resolved when we do the next patch management for our existing all ESXi. Identify possible solution and their impact on vSphere environment. Short-term solution, workaround. Short-term solution, sometimes just immediately you want to provide more resources within ESX. Okay, non-critical VM, you can shut down. There is a temporary solution. Long-term solution must provide sufficient required resources at the hypervisor level, or might be you need to configure something in order to fix permanent that problem. Impact analysis, assess the impact of the solution on the operation. Do I need to, in order to fix this problem, do I need to migrate first all the VMs? Yes. Do we have enough resources in other ESXi hosts? We need to analyze that thing. In order to apply this resolution, make sure we can apply it right now or later successfully. Resolve the problem by implementing the most effective solution. Okay, another scenario you can see defining the problem.
Girish, I have one query regarding the previous one. In the last example, you have said this is 2 GB memory we have set it for one of the VM, and we have put the limit as 1 GB.
I think you have just exit.
Okay.
So you have just we have just provided the 2 GB memory for one of the virtual machine, and limit we have provided 1.5, and resolution we have given is 1 GB. So my
Mhm.
question is the 0.5 GB, 0.5 GB means like 1.5 and 2 GB. Will this memory will be used in any time?
Means
Uh,
the guest operating system can use this memory anytime, can request, because the guest OS can see this allocated memory. The guest OS can see only this allocated memory all the time I have. But internally might be configured reservation 1 GB for this VM. That this parameter only visible for the hypervisor, not for the OS. OS
Right.
can see only this figure.
yeah.
And might be we have limit also configured 1.5. That is also these two parameters visible only for the ESXi. Guest operating system can see only this parameters. Now, whenever guest operating system request, I have 2 GB. Now I need my old 2 GB in order to use. So now it's up to the host, because how you configure. This is all the time taking and provided from the ESXi physical RAM. And this next 512 is not guaranteed. It depends upon the condition. If host has free memory, yes. If host has free memory, then entire 2 GB you can take as a physical RAM. But when guest operating system demand 2 GB, other VM also running, they already captured all the remaining memory. Host doesn't have free physical RAM left. But it must need to satisfy this 2 GB for the VM. In that case, this entire 2 GB it can provide from other sources like TPS, learning, memory compression, host. But for this 1 GB, all the time from the physical RAM, because this is a reserved amount.
In my case, like we have the sufficient we have sufficient memory available on the ESXi host, and we have
Okay.
resolution gaps at 1 GB.
We have 10 GB free RAM at the ESXi level.
Mhm.
If the guest operating system demanding 2 GB, what do you think? How much maximum the guest operating system can take from the physical RAM?
Yeah, it's a 2 GB only if we have the free
No.
space with it.
No. Even you have 10 GB free RAM available at the hypervisor level, because of this parameter, it cannot use more than 1.5 GB as a physical RAM. But limited it would.
Okay, the 0.5 GB.
This is a manually limit, right? If you keep the default limit, then it's okay. Default limit is your allocated memory. Then in that case, yes, it can take automatically 2 GB as a physical RAM if you have 10 GB free. But manually, if you put a limit, and that is something else like 1.5. So maximum this VM can take from the host 1.5 GB, not more than that. Remaining 512 must be used from other sources.
Got it. Got it. Thank you.
Right? Yes, guys, like that, if something is not clear, you should ask. Instead of sitting idle, make your concept clear. Right? Sometimes, very new question I also face. If I face some first time, I sometimes also need to make an investigation, then I definitely will get back to you within 5 days. And don't sit idle. Use your proper time to these 5 days. Yeah. Yes, please.
I usually suppose we did not keep limit, okay, and we only kept reservation 1 GB. Then in this case, how much physical RAM will be allocated to the virtual machine? Only 1 GB, right?
No. Now that depends again how much we have free RAM left in the ESXi. So you configure only this the default limit 2 GB. Hypervisor has 10 GB free. The guest operating system when demand 2 GB, it take entire 2 GB from the physical. Entire 2 GB. That clear? the condition we don't have this parameter configured. We have default limit. So you have default limit that is 2 GB in this case. And the condition host has enough free RAM. If host has enough free RAM, then what I should do? You need 2 GB? Okay, take 2 GB. Another VM need 3 GB? Okay, take 3 GB because of I have enough memory. Whenever we have a contention, then it need to plan how much I have to give from here. Might be in a heavy contention, the 1 GB from the physical RAM, but another 1 GB from the other memory reclamation technique, like swap. Another 1 GB might be provided from ESW file. That's why for this VM, the swap file size is how big? As per given example, if you power on the VM, what is the
1 GB, 1 GB.
Alright. Right?
Some other concept.
Yeah, I appreciate your questions. That's what we can this way make the training very interesting. Keep continuous if something is unclear, but not unnecessary. Right? If something really you think that I must need to know, then you attempt to migrate virtual machine, the name of the virtual machine VM01 from the host 01 to 02. After waiting a couple of minutes, vMotion migration fails with an error message. Getting the point? You move in virtual machine simply as a live migration. Live migrations means when VMs powered on for the new guys. Powered on virtual machine from one hardware to another hardware you want. VM is on, user over the network working on inside the VM. Right now VM running in this ESXi host, we're going to move the virtual machine. Another ESXi host and let the user working inside. This is called technology vMotion migration, live migrations, hot migration, multiple terms we use. So it starts initially, but after a couple of, you can say, seconds to minutes, it gets failed. vMotion not happen successfully, VM still remain in the same host. And it produce also the error of this vMotion failed. You consider whether the failure is a vSphere vMotion problem or a symptom of an underlying problem. The error message provides some clue. Whatever error message get triggered, try to read it. And might be once you start reading, some clue you will get. What clue you can get if you know the vMotion concept. All the prerequisite, how this technology works, how it is possible if user connected to the VM through PuTTY through RDP, working inside in the backend, you migrating the virtual machine from existing hardware to new hardware, or simply from existing ESXi to new ESXi. Right now VM running in ESXi 01, you are going to migrate it ESXi 02. So first of all, why we need to do this vMotion action and how this concept works. First of all, in this case of vMotion, if you have DRS enabled cluster, DRS automatically move your virtual machine based upon the resource requirements. Suppose DRS identify the VM need how much CPU memory not getting from existing ESXi. Can other hosts satisfy the VM's all CPU memory requirement? Yes. Host number 2, host number 80 out of 60 can satisfy the VM demand. So DRS automatically move to virtual machine. No downtime. When it does vMotion, what happened in the backend? The virtual machine having its memory pages, these old memory pages over the vMotion network migrate from source to destination, and virtual machine get resumed there, delete this, user get connected to successfully second virtual machine instance. Even the client cannot realize this happened in the backend. So vMotion prerequisite concept must be clear to everyone. Then vMotion related problems we can understand. Otherwise, if you try to read the message, whatever failure message we get, we can't understand what is given inside the message. So one of the main prerequisites, the hardware must be in both ESXi from the same vendor. You are using Intel, must be Intel. You are using AMD, must be AMD. Live migrations, vMotion migration, we do not support between Intel and AMD. Then, second condition, vMotion network must be available. It uses the vMotion network to migrate this memory data, which belongs to this particular VM, over the vMotion network moment. And how we can read vMotion network? It will be a port group, let's say VMK5, VMK5, and 0010, and 0011. And vMotion to vMotion network must be approachable to each other. For this network being used by the ESXi to migrate virtual machine all the memory state from itself to the another destination ESXi host. So sometimes IP address, subnet mask not correctly configured in both the ends, so we need to verify that also. Or local resources such as you have a CD inserted in the ESXi mounted in the virtual machine, and that CD is not visible from the destination host, so simply it's not allowed to the virtual machine. So these kind of prerequisites of vMotion, concept of vMotion, we know very well. We can figure it out when vMotion related issue we face, when you start reading the message. Something like this. vMotions when you trigger, so after hard development, trigger this failure message, try to figure it out what is given inside, so you can, when you start reading, somewhere you can you read this entire message, let me know once you understand what could be the problem. Read it entirely, without skip any single line. Yeah, Vivek Singh, did you get some idea from this message?
Yeah, so I believe the VM kernel settings, right? vMotion is a different IPs. Yeah, or vMotion is not enabled on that VM kernel boot as well. So these two settings we have to check out.
Yes, correct. So something, as you know, vMotion network highly required. Move the virtual machines related memory data from source to destination host. So it using what network? You can see if you try to focus from here. Yeah. Page to connect remote host on this 172.12.52, 172.14.51. If you open both hosts, this vMotion VM kernel port group, you can see the subnet mask must be 24 So /24 means what? In each octet we have 8 bits. 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. So 14 means these 3 octet value we are using as a subnet mask. So it means what? These 3 octet must be same, because we are not using the layer 3 network between source and destination. We are using layer 2. So it means it must be the same 3 octet value. Either 20.14 or 20.1 must be the both. But in one hand, you can see one was 12.52, another hand 14.51. So they both represent different subnet. You are not using router between, so they are not communicating over the network with each other. That is the main reason. Failed to create connection between remote host because it is not able to establish communication. ESXi host failed to connect over the vMotion network. vMotion migration failed, but ESXi host was not able to connect over the vMotion network. Check. You should know all the prerequisites of vMotion. And immediately you can access both the ESXi destination VM kernel network, edit and change this. One of the ESXi host. Either make it both end 12 or 14. Third octet must be same. First 3 octet. 172.20, 172.20, 14. Either 14 or 12. Scenarios identifying possible causes. Use the information that you get to identify possible causes based on error message. vSphere vMotion migration failed because ESXi 0102 failed to connect over the vMotion's network. Other network, they might be correct. They still able to communicate with vCenter server. For vCenter, they need vMKG2. That is no problem. Storage, they have proper access. Only vMotion network, they have a problem. This error indicates a possible misconfiguration. That is what the scope of this training, recovering most of the problem due to misconfigurations. Misconfiguration related of most of the problem we're going to cover. At the ESXi level, because where we can get VM kernel at the ESXi level, get a VM kernel, while getting VM kernel, you need to define this IP address, subnet mask, default gateway. And there are many check marks. This VM kernel code group you are going to make for the host management traffic, fault tolerance, vMotion, vSphere application, vSAN, several check marks. You have a vMotion check mark. So vSphere vMotion is misconfigured. Possible causes: network connectivity is down on the ESXi host. vMotion VM kernel interface connectivity is down on the ESXi host. Physical adapter has no problem. You have a physical adapter, no problem. But inside the switch you have many virtual adapter in the form of VM kernel port, VMK0, VMK1, VMK2. These all are virtual adapters. And this virtual adapter is a down. So components to check: application, guest OS, virtual machines, which virtual machine failed, rules vMotion, and in which ESXi it is, and hardware level, make sure we have all the hardware resources available at the ESXi level. And this is also we can verify, because sometimes you could have 12 porting, but between the two ESXi you have a physical router. In that case, no problem. But octet value even we have different, but still you both are pinged, both are able to communicate with each other. If yes, then no problem, we can migrate. So first thing, whether the source ESXi can reach to the destination over its vMotion network or not. We can check. Check if ESXi is reachable using the ping command. Yes. Check if 20, 12, 52 is reachable using ping command. First name, then IP. If name is working, name is not working, IP is working. DNS might be problem. If no, fix network configuration to get successfully ping source to destination, perform vSphere vMotion migrations. And after pinging this one, can you ping yes or no? Then we need to fix the VM kernel. vSphere vMotion. If we yes, then it means what? We identify the problem, fix the problem. Now you are able to do the vMotions.
Okay.
So resolving this problem, in this scenario, you assumed that the root cause is in fact IP address of the VM kernel interface for vSphere vMotion on the ESXi. You assess the impact of the problem on the operations and determine that the problem has a probably high impact because it affects the following operation. The migrations of any VMs to ESXi you can't perform because of wrong IP configuration. And it also impacts the DRS functionalities because DRS does what? Automatic vMotion, but within a cluster. Manual vMotion out of cluster is possible, but whenever DRS needs to trigger vMotion, it works always within a DRS. Suppose in one DRS HA enabled cluster we have 64 ESXi, and it can move anytime from any host to any host, but within a cluster, your virtual machines. So you identified possible solution to resolve the problem. Short-term solution, manually do not migrate virtual machine on that host where you need to fix the IP address. A long-term solution, yes, you must need to fix this IP addresses on the ESXi02, and whenever you pay, you have less burden on that ESXi host. You can edit its setting, configure its subnet mask, correct IP address, and implementing the solution should not require doubt. Whatever solution you are going to use, whether you need downtime or not, that also depends. So this solution, changing IP address, we do not need any downtime. Host allow you to even create or delete existing kernel without rebooting or downtime. So what we discussed, scope of troubleshooting, what approach we can use, up-down or bottom-up approach, and apply the troubleshooting methodology to diagnose faults, make the troubleshooting process efficient. Any questions? What we covered only on that. And who never done vSphere ICM, don't consider that you are working in a vSphere environment for last 2 to 5 years and you start considering I know very well vSphere. You still don't know so many things. Even if you pick up the vMotion concept, there is a huge discussion against the vMotions. If you pick up HA concept, resource management, how we can allocate CPU, memory, storage, network bandwidth for virtual machines. You can see in the ICM package training vSphere, you have a detailed discussions for that. HA architecture, 3 dedicated lessons we have. DRS, dedicated module. vMotion, dedicated lessons. So in future, whenever you get a chance, you must need to do ICM vSphere. Because if the foundation, if you know the technology, how it works, then you can understand the relevant problem and you might have get the idea. We discussed here vMotions, swapping concept, resource allocation. these much more detailed, if you have information, you can then better understand the problems of your vSphere environment. Accordingly, then you can apply the solutions. So just a minute. Let the module to start. I think you have received the code also. You can check, you must be received one more mail from the VMware site.
Yeah, I got it.
Yes. Yes.
So in the same mail, you can see the link is Eventis. You click on that Eventis link, you need to sign up if you are using it first time, and sign up and then log in, and inside you will get one redeem option. You can then put this code, then you can see it will give you two ebooks. One is your lecture manual, another one is your lab. And if you want to make it offline, you need to download and install Vital itself software in your mobile, or your laptop or desktop. And with the same credential, you need to log in. Whatever. So various types of tools we're going to discuss here in the module 2. By knowing how and when to use different troubleshooting tools to address various types of problems, you can save the time in identifying and solving the problems. You can use also GUI, graphical user interface, or you can use CLI tools, online interface. You also can access various kinds of logs file to analyze or to find what exactly happened in your vSphere environment. To various files we have at the vCenter server level, ESXi level, VMs level, that also we're going to see and discuss in this entire module. So we can understand what exactly happened, and accordingly we can apply some solution to resolve the issue. So 4 lessons we have. So first lesson we're going to cover now, and the remaining 3 lessons we're going to see after lunch, and we have some labs also. So labs journey also going to start from this module number 3. So using the command lines for troubleshooting. So we're going to see what are the different tools we have what is ESX CLI shell we can use, and we can run some sort of commands to configure some setting in the ESXi host, some vSphere components to command line also we can configure and manage. vSphere troubleshooting toolkit. So all the references, documentation, KB articles, you can consider these all also as one of the tools. Problems comes in the category of well-known problems, so it means I can find its solution in the VMware technical document like docs.vmware.com. Or you can use simple Google search release notes vSphere 7. It will automatically give you first or second links. From here you can start reading, and might be your problem somewhere you can find there. We have various user interfaces to interact with the vSphere layer, to directly connect to your vCenter or ESXi host. So you can use vSphere client, you can use host client, and we have also some CLI tools. If you know the commands, we can access your ESXi directly through SSH and run sort of commands in order to see the existing configuration. If you want to modify, you can do that. Or you want to access specific logs file from the specific location of ESXi, specific location of vCenter server, want to retrieve its logs file. And if you are already comfortable with Linux commands, at least at the file and folder level commands, whatever we have in the Linux, same command you can use in the ESXi hypervisors. So some command lines tools also we need to know because this is also one of the, you can say, methods to find the existing configurations, wrong configurations, how it comes to know who made what kind of changes. So for that, command lines only we can capture these logs file, open the logs file, start scrutinize these log file in order to find some clue. What happened, who done what kind of changes at what date and time, everything's get logged in the various logs file. So vSphere troubleshooting toolkit consists all of the tools that you need for troubleshooting problem in your environment. From these various tools, you can choose the appropriate tools for any troubleshooting situation. Like all these you can use. Even in your lab environment, whatever problems get created by the running script, you can use these tools also. Whatever problem you are facing, we are not getting moved as the vMotion. If you have relevant heavy article, try to open this and make a search regarding whatever problem you are facing. Or you can directly access this docs.vmware.com, make a search. But directly you can go to the blogs.vmware, VMware top level blogger, write about the new features, existing technology, very useful. Communities. I joined today vSphere communities. I'm facing a problem. Take a screenshot, put in the vSphere community your problem along with detail and snapshot, and that post get distributed among all the members of the vSphere community worldwide. Most of the time it happens, whatever problem we facing, some of communities member know already, because they faced the same issue long ago. They come back, okay, follow this KB article, follow these links, follow these blogs, and you comes to know the exact problems is defined in that logs. VMware compatibility guide, where you can see all the supported software, hardwares, as a list you can find there. Make sure all the hardware, software we are using, which is defined in the compatibility list. Product interoperability matrices, vSphere 7 release nodes. Either directly hit this URL or just make a search, Google search. vSphere 7 release nodes will give you these links. And this is your vSphere client GUI interface. I hope everyone is comfortable with it. Day-to-day management, we using this specifically when you're going to create something, manage something, or even troubleshooting something. Going to understand the problem, we need to always use vSphere client to access your environment, vSphere stack. So once you access your, this all information we getting from where? From the vCenter server. This interface we getting from the vCenter server. vSphere client we have in the vCenter server. But you also can use host client. When you want to access individual host, you can use host command. Net specific single host through the UI. Same URL you are going to use. HTTPS f2dn/UI. f2dn of ESXi host f2dn of vCenter server. And you are going to access one interface. vCenter server appliance management interface. How I can access this one interface? Anyone? Yes, I hope everyone know. You're working every day with vSphere, this is what you are using often. How we can use this one?
With you have to put the vCenter name and 5480 port number.
Yes. Right. Before that, f2dn, alright. Yes. What this interface known as? How you will get?
It's a DCUI.
It is the DCUI. Can you access DCUI through the putting?
Yes, we can do.
So DCUI generally be used if you lost all the management network to your ESXi. The last alternate to get the physical console of ESXi host, and this is what the physical console of ESXi is. When you lost all network to reach to your ESXi, you cannot attempt SSH because network is not available for the ESXi. The last alternate you can use physical console of the ESXi host, that is DCUI. Here you cannot use the mouse, you can use only keyboard. Another method you can use PuTTY and PuTTY, SSH. And connect to directly ESXi host. And if you know the commands, you can run some commands, virtual machine related all commands. Use this vim-cmd. Command started with vim-cmd, which allows you to manage the virtual machine. Want to see all the registered virtual machine in ESXi 0? You can run this command. Get all VMs. Show to you there VMX configurations file exists in which virtual machine folder, and this virtual machine folder exists in this VMFS dust. This kind of information we can get through the SSH. So vCenter appliance also has its own WAM interface, and that also we're going to see. Last, the vCenter server level troubleshooting, ESXi level troubleshooting. So we can access command line interface on the ESXi host in a different ways. One way is enable SSH, install small PuTTY and PuTTY software in your laptop or in your jump box, and from there you can adapt SSH to ESXi, which is the command line console. And we also can enable ESXi shell from where? From the DCUI. First access ESXi DCUI, and from DCUI you can enable ESXi shell, then log out, and you can attempt Alt F1 key combination. It will open the command line console. If you know the commands, like this command, you can run this command also directly when you press Alt F1. Alt F1 for local command line shell known as ESXi shell. Log out, Alt F2, exit from it, and use standalone ESXCLI command remotely when you access SSH to ESXi. So much things you can do through this command ESXCLI. Going to see the example of ESXCLI. So accessing vSphere ESXi cell, it is just like a local command line shell of the ESXi host. If you want to use this one, it means first we need to enable it on the DCUI. First you need to access physical console of the ESXi, that is called DCUI, enable this ESXi cell services, and then you can access the ESXi in the DCUI. You need to hit the Alt F1. Disable vSphere ESXi cell whenever first you enable, you have done your all required things inside, again disable it. Do not keep it enabled all the times. Return to the main DCUI, view the view by pressing Alt F1. This function leaves you logged into the shell. If you return Alt F1, log out first images. Log in Alt F1 and pick from that Alt F1. And when you access DCUI, you're not just going to enable this ESXi local shell, but you also can enable the SSH, but the ESXi must be available in the network, then only we can access it through the SSH. And which we can enable through the DCUI or through vSphere client also we can enable it, SSH. First connect to vSphere client to vCenter, then register ESXi on the configurations tab. Under the security we can enable this. And once you enable this one, then small PuTTY or PuTTY you need to install somewhere. It could be Jumbox, it could be your local laptop, and from here you can make a SSH attempt the ESXi host. And once you've done your job, you can again disable SSH. Do not keep it as a security best practice all the time. Not need to keep it open. When you want to use it, enable it, use it, and again disable. So you can also configure other setting, like you want to configure for the ESXi cell or SSH timeout setting, or default dependency 00. So you must need to put some time, like 1 minute. Within 1 minute, if it does not receive any input, forcefully disconnect the user session for the security purpose. This setting does not affect the existing connection. The idle timeout setting logs out local or SSH user if their sessions remain idle for the defined interval in second, 60 seconds, 30 seconds, 2 minutes. So this is the DCUI from where you can enable or disable your SSH or ESXi shell. and how by using this DCY you can also configure the timeout values, define some interval in a second here. And this is the commands often we used, ESXCLI. You only need to know by using ESXCLI, we can do something regarding hardware, something regarding network, storage. You do not need to know the entire commands. You do not need to memorize the entire commands. You just need to know, yes, to do something regarding storage, the command begin as ESXCLI. To do regarding vSAN storage, the command begin with ESXCLI. After that, you don't know. Just type ESXCLI, enter. It will show to you all the possible next combination. You know very well, I'm going to work with a network. So pick up ESXCLI network, then after, I don't know, again write ESXCLI network, hit enter, it will show you all possible combination next. Pick up one of them. This way, it could be one line long command, no need to remember. Only first words need to remember, ESXCLI. Remaining, it automatically shows you. And if it is a cutoff every day you are using, you might be by heart know all the commands. Beginning, as a beginner, how you can proceed, how you can use. Just type ESXCLI, enter, pick up the next command, type ESXCLI network, hit enters, pick up the one next command, hit enter. This way you can complete these commands. Example you can see, suppose something I want to do with the storage, ESXCLI storage. Then after, I don't know what I need to type. Just type ESXCLI storage, hit enter, it will show you available namespace. Okay, yes, I want to work with NFS, so pick up the NFS. Version 3 or 4.1. I want to work with SAN. VMFS existing volume, file system I want to see. Pick up one of them, and try to write ESXCLI storage SAN. After that, put again enter. SAN enter. It will show to you available namespace. This time, ESXCLI network. After that, these are the possible firewall, IP, NIC, port, virtual machine, switch, diagnose. ESXCLI network vSwitch, standard. Then you can pick up. You want to see existing old standard switch, make a list. You want to remove existing, this command remain as it is. After this, you have to manually use this. Set remove, modify something, set remove gonna, delete the object, list the object, are you going to create? Distributed switch can be created by using SSH or not. If not, then what? So first of all, what is BTS? vSphere distributed switch. Am I audible, guys?
Yeah, Krish, you are.
Yes. Okay. So distributed switch, how it is different than your VSS, standard switch.
So basically, the standard switch works on the standalone host. We can create it on the standalone host, but yeah, a virtual distributed switch that will be created on the cluster level. So if you want to add any kind of port group, then we don't no need to work on each and every ESXi host for the virtual distributed switch. But yes, for the standard switch, we have to create it one by one for all of the ESXi hosts on that cluster. And there is separate, there is many other policies that we can use it on the virtual desktop switch VDS that cannot be used on the VSS.
Yes, absolutely correct. But we can create this vSphere distributed switch at the data center level, not at the cluster. Even you have two clusters, we can share the same VDS. Data center level only, we can create it. We need vCenter server, enterprise plus license or vSAN license if you have, then also you can use it. So suppose we have 3 or more ESXi hosts and vCenter server level you are going to create it. One time you create it, VDS type 1, it is available in your number of ESXi. So first direct advantage, we have centralized management for this network. But one time you create it, it appears in all the ESXi hosts. But every ESXi level we have a physical LAN card, and from that we connect our physical network. And one time you create a port group that will appear in all the ESXi hosts. Let's say EG1. So what happened? EG1, EG1, port group 1, automatically we get in all 330 or more ESXi. So it simplifies your network in little. In the vCenter server, you're doing all the configuration. The vCenter server apply to underline all the connected ESXi. So one direct advantage, simplify the network, related all your job. Second thing, as you explained, some advanced feature like network IO control version 3 if you are using. So it means at the VM level, virtual machine, VM level you want to control that VM can use how much bandwidth as a reserved bandwidth. You can use network IO control version 3 and only if you are using distributed switch. You want to configure private VLAN. VLAN you can configure in both standard switch or distributed switch, but private VLAN, further segmentation of VLANs, that only available in the vSphere distributed switch. So some unique benefits, features we can use from the distributed switch only. And distributed switch you cannot create this VDS you cannot create at the hypervisor level, but if it is already there, you can see, you can manage it. But when you say create modification, that is only possible by using vCenter server at the data center. So you can see, if you want to see ESXi level distributed switch, ESXi network, vSwitch, DVS, we have one. After that, I don't know, hit enter, it will show LSCP list. You want to see how many distributed switch it has, contain, or LSCP, link aggregation control, whether configured or not. You can use these two namespace after this. And if you see here we are using list, it will show to you only single distributed switch you have, the name of the distributed switch, its ID, number of ports available, used port, so lot of information, how many uplinks connected to it, so that all information it show to you once you run this command. But if you want to create, that's not possible. So for that, vCenter server, but you can create directly through the commands, but standard switch, not distributed switch. You want to see hardware, available hardware in that particular ESXi host. So again, command begin with ESXCLI, then hardware, then what particular hardware you want to see, have a huge list. You want to see memory, you want to see CPU, you want to see PCI slots or other hardware information. And this is also, we can use Vim CMD, and this command line tools we use to manage our virtual machine. And this is also Vim CMD. Then after what I can use, you can take even separate help for it. These are the sort of commands we can use. But this is specifically to manage virtual machine within ESXi host. Directly you're going to access, hover on the VM, register the VM, unregister the VM, take the snaps, or these kind of things, VM's level management, you can do through this command at the host ESXi level. And this is one of the famous command we use. ESX top, people who done the vSphere optimized scale know very well. Almost in every module we use ESX top command. So ESX top command we can use to retrieve the statistics, real time metrics you want to retrieve, what's going on in terms of CPU, RAM, network, bandwidth, storage. And this is also very helpful in order to identify problem exists at the host end or problem exists at the storage end. By using ESX top command, easily we can to know. And by default, it shows you all the CPU related statistics. Do you know, if I want to see whether CPU related contention exists at the ESXi level, at the VM level, which metrics I want to use? These all are the columns, CPU related columns, CPU related metrics shown. Whether the VM's level individual or ESXi level, CPU related contention exists or not. Due to that, is my virtual machine affecting, not getting as per the required CPU or not? Most important value here, most important columns here we have, what is that? CPU running time. When we start monitoring this one, it must be less than equal to 10. Here you can see almost 0101. But sometimes if it's showing 20 point something, not good. This percentage RD value is acceptable only less than equal to 10. More than 10 must have CPU saturation, CPU contention. And at which VM level, that also you can see. These all are your virtual machine. It will show to you uptime, for how many days it is continuously up and running, how many total number of process running, total number of virtual machine, total number of virtual CPU, and CPU load average of last 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So here, if you want to see the memory related statistics, you need to press N. Network related statistics, press N. Storage related, you have several, small d, capital T. So by default, it gives you this information at regular interval 5 seconds. After every 5 seconds, it refreshes the screen as per the current real-time monitoring. If you want to reduce, you can make it minimum 2 seconds. Reduce this refresh time. In every 2 seconds, it will show the statistics. This is also free of cost, no need to spare extra, no need to wear the extra license cost. It is free tools we can use. Just access, put the SSH your ESXi host and run the command ESX top enter. You statistics. Capital V, only VMs related to process shown. And VM, single VM level, how many process get involved? You can use the GUID number, GIT number, GID. Every virtual machine has its separate GIT. You can copy it, write it. Individual VM level, how many process involved, per process CPU consumption I want to see. And you can run it in a batch mode, collect all these statistics in a file, and that file you want to analyze, you can run that later in the replay mode. But this is also very, very E6. And now we have made first time 2 labs. So let you know how we can access ESX at the DCUI and how we can use ESX CLI command in order to use some hardware information, storage information, virtual switch information. And here we are going to see this command to manage your ESXi host-based virtual machine. How you can register virtual machine. Registering and unregistering you can do through the vSphere client also. But here, through this command, how you can do the same thing. Registering VM, power on VM, unregistered VM. So we can take now lunch break and come back, and without waiting for each